listening to the X-Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network and X-Zone Broadcast Network. Visit our website at www.xzoneradiotv.com.
From town to town, she sleeps on a roller coaster. She looks like a girly poster.
The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Of a traveling show. My mama used to dance for the money they'd throw. Papa would do whatever he could. Preach a little gospel, sell a couple bottles of Dr. Good. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves, we'd hear it from the people of the town. They'd call us gypsies.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and yes, we're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network and on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, and our growing family of broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Australia, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. If you'd like to give us a call, X-Zone Nation, as always, toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. My email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Dr. MELVIN KIRSCHNER, MD, and he is the author of a very interesting book entitled Medicines Are Poison, Making Your Way Through the Medical Minefield. Now, after medical training at the University of Southern California and the Los Angeles County General Hospital, Dr. KIRSCHNER entered medical practice in the San Fernando Valley as a family physician. In 1961, there were very few doctors with his public health experience. This soon led to the volunteering in various health-related programs, such as the Regional Medical Disaster Program, the Red Cross Disaster and Blood Program, the Home Health Association, Visiting Nurse Association, Hospice, several committees on biomedical issues, advisor to the California Health Law Revision Committee, Single Prayer Health Care for All, Physicians for a National Health Plan, California Physicians Alliance, and other health-related activities. He has also written numerous articles, letters, and op-ed pieces, and appeared on radio, television, and lectured on healthcare issues at many venues. Recently retired from medical practice, he continues to volunteer for many health-oriented community programs. This book is a collection of essays by Dr. KIRSCHNER regarding some of the many unresolved healthcare, pharmaceutical, and insurance issues that his patients have shared with him during his 47 years of family medical practice. In this book, All Medicines Are Poison, Dr. MELVIN KIRSCHNER, MPH, MD, sets out to remove the fog of confusion that clouds the landscape patients that are required to navigate in their search for health care today. This book describes the risks and benefits associated with the use of medicines and explores the validity of other treatment modalities referred to as complementary and alternative medicine, or CAM. He discusses the numerous failings and backroom dealings in the pharmaceutical and insurance industries and highlights possible solutions to many of these current concerns. Dr. KIRSCHNER has had extensive career in healthcare field. He has championed patients' rights throughout his career. As one of the key physicians instrumental in the enactment of the first biomedical ethical guidelines in the world, he has always strived for close doctor-patient relationships, where the patient's concerns always come first. X-Zone Radio Nation, on the other side of this commercial break in 2 minutes, my guest this hour is Dr. Melvin Kirschner, MPH, MD, and we're talking about his book, Medicines Are Poison, Making Your Way Through the Medical Minefield. His website, www.allmedicinesarepoison.com. I'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as the X-Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. By the way, X-Zone Nation, if you'd like the latest news on the Power Gators TV series, and if you'd like to see who has joined us officially on the Power Gators team, we're starting to put up their names at www.powergators.org. Click on Power Gators team. You'll be surprised to see who we've got on our team. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
But every night all the men would come around and lay their money down. Picked up a boy just south of
What a drag it is getting old. Kids are different today. I hear every mother say, mother needs something today to calm her down. And though she's not really ill, there's a little yellow pill. She goes running for the shelter of her mother's little elf.
Hey, quiet! Quiet!
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Dr. Melvin Kirschner is our very special guest. And first of all, Dr. Kirschner, welcome to the X-Zone. Congratulations on your new book.
Thank you.
Why do you believe, Doctor, that our healthcare system is in, and this is a quote, a sorry state?
Well, of course, I'm speaking about the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I have relatives in Canada who don't have the problems we have. The sorry state is the fact that, number one, it's the most expensive system in the world, about twice as much as it is in every other country. Number two, there are 45,000 people in the United States that have no insurance whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
and often don't react to their illnesses until it's an emergency, wind up in an emergency room or in a hospital, and that's the most expensive way to take care of illness.
But what about this new health care bill that was just planned? Will Obamacare fix this problem?
I doubt it. Obamacare is a step in the right direction,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very slow in getting to where it's going to get to, and it gives away a lot of stuff to the insurance industry and the pharmaceutical industry.
So let me ask you this, Doctor. What would be an acceptable fix for the failing healthcare system in the U.S.?
Well, the 17,000 doctors, including myself, members of the Physicians for a National Health Program,
Mm-hmm.
suggest that we should have a single-payer system. In California alone, 95% of the RNs, the nurses, think we should have a single-payer system. In fact, single-payer system was approved by the California legislature 3 times. It was vetoed twice by the sitting governor, and we're waiting for a new governor.
Why was it vetoed?
Well, that's an interesting story. Apparently, he was approached by the insurance companies
Mm-hmm.
and suggested he should veto them. Now, I don't know what Schwarzenegger got out of that, but I went to the meeting where he was pushing his system, and it was sponsored by insurance companies, health insurance companies.
Doctor, why do you believe all medicines are poison?
Good question. All medicines are poison. I was just reviewing a list of medicines that have been taken off the market over the last 10 years or so. I was trained from the very beginning, back in the 50s, that all medicines were poison. Every medicine has some side effects, some of them very rare, some of them very serious. And when one prescribes a medicine, we were taught to prescribe only medicines where the benefit outweighs the risk. One also has to consider interactions with other drugs where a patient is taking more than one drug. And currently, if one looks at the healthcare section of the current newspaper, you'll find that they're going to talk about dropping still more drugs because of the risky side effects. A number of children's medicines, such as Tylenol and Robitussin and so on, were either taken off the children's market or placed behind the pharmacy's desk so that they couldn't be just picked up by parents because of their risks. If the risk outweighs chances the benefits, you do not take the medicine. If the benefits are so important that you're willing to take the risks, you take them. A cancer patient loses their hair, they get nauseated, they vomit, they break out in rashes, and their drugs can even kill them. But the cancer will surely kill them, so they take the lesser of the two evils.
What do you think of the present pill-popping society that we're in, Doctor? And as a doctor with 47 years of family practice, how do you feel about this?
Well, I don't think we should be popping pills. That's the reason we pop so many pills is they're so available and so pushy. You can open any magazine in any paper and find that somebody is pushing pills. Some company, some doctor, some person is pushing something. And often there is no actual proof that the pill has any advantage. I had a case recently where a while back where a lady brought her son in with a cold. She wanted a shot of penicillin for him. I said, "No, lady, you don't need a shot of penicillin. He should take nothing or a mild decongestant." She got angry at me, left my office, went down the street to another doctor and got the shot of penicillin. Penicillin is dangerous. It's a wonderful drug. It can save your life, but can also kill you with a reaction. Or you become allergic to it, and when you need it, you can't use it.
You know, coming into this segment, I played a song by the Rolling Stones called Mother's Little Helper, and basically it's all about pills like Valium that it seems that parents are taking today. Look at the crisis that we have with kids with Ritalin, for goodness sake, and a lot of people don't realize that Ritalin is in the same pharmacological family as cocaine. So
yes, there's a lot of that going on.
You know, and I've even heard stories, Doctor, where parents bring their child to a doctor, put the child on Ritalin, and take the Ritalin themselves and not give it to the child.
Well, you know, there are some doctors that do that. I have never allowed that to happen in my practice. My patients always knew that medicines are poison, and when I prescribed, I limited the use. I told them why they had to take it and to stop taking it when they didn't need it. There are very few of my patients that stayed on medicines. And if they did so without my approval.
So where did society, or how did society, Doctor, get into the pill-popping society that we are in now? How come doctors are now prescribing all these different pills, whereas before, when you were in practice, or, you know, you just wouldn't do it because, you know, medicine is poison? So what happened in society that made all these pills and all this medicine so available?
I think it's the advertising. Patients come in with a feeling about that they need a medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And if you open any magazine, any newspaper, any journal, there's advertising. Interestingly enough, the vitamin scam is a huge scam. If you read the current Reader's Digest, the April issue,
Mm-hmm.
you will notice that the heading is the vitamin scam. And they go through all the vitamins and find that the only vitamins that have proven to be useful for everybody are vitamin D. The rest of them are a waste of time and a waste of money. However, if you look at the average ad for vitamins, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Take vitamins.
So
Interestingly enough, I'm on the Physician's Health Study offered by Harvard. I've been on them for years. And we take vitamins. They started us with 6 vitamins. And that was years ago. One by one, they dropped those vitamins because it was determined that they were of no value. We are only on one vitamin right now. It looks like Centrum Silver, but it may be a placebo, or it may be a real medicine. We don't know, nor should we know. And Harvard is still studying that to see if there's any difference between the placebo group and the people taking the vitamin in terms of their illnesses and health.
So are we to look at Big Pharma as the perpetrators of this dilemma that we're in?
I think so. I think they're largely to blame, and it's a huge, huge income for the companies that get their ads and so on. Huge income.
But
And
what
of course, the pharmaceutical industry makes a huge income by selling medicines that aren't necessary.
Tell me, Doctor, what got you started in biomedical ethics?
That's interesting. I was, years ago, I was when I was still an intern, we had some cases of death and dying, and one of the issues was that in those days, there was no law that a doctor could withhold life support. There was no law that said we must give life support. There were no laws regarding that anywhere in the world. And I had a patient who insisted on us withdrawing life support from her. She was a clear-minded lady. I said, well, you know, if I take away your ventilator and she was writing notes to me. If I take away the ventilator and the IV and all that, you'll surely die. She said, it's my right. She wrote a note to me. It's my right to live or die, and I authorize you, I require you to take off the ventilator and all these machines and to not put them back on again. And we did that. The pulmonologist, the nurses, and I were all at the bedside and gave her a mild sedative. She went to sleep and died. It was her choice. That was the beginning of my concerns about the fact that we didn't have any standard. Doctors did everything a patient wanted and kept everyone alive.
Doctor, stand by. You and I have to take our news break. We'll be right back. Exonation, Dr. Melvin Kirschner is our very special guest. He's the author of Medicines Are Poison, Making Your Way Through the Medical Minefield. His website is www.allmedicinesarepoison.com. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, here in the X Zone.
And she finds a frozen steak and goes running for the shelter of her mother's health.
You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network and X Zone Broadcast Network. Visit our website at www.xzoneradiotv.com.
Then I heard a voice beside me, and she softly said, "Wonder is and praying, planning and dreaming each night of his charms that won't get you into his arms. So if you're looking to find love, you can share. All you gotta do is
Dr. Melvin Kirschner is our special guest exonation. He is the author of Medicines Are Poison, Making Your Way Through the Medical Minefield. His website is www.allmedicinesarepoison.com. Doctor, do you believe that a patient should have the right to say, all right, I've had enough, I want to go peacefully?
Yes, I do, and we now have laws, especially in the western states, that permit us to do that without being punished for following the patient's advice and withdrawing or withholding life support. This was started, by the way, in California. An old man from a nursing home was sent to an emergency hospital because he was in a comatose state, and the emergency room was very, very busy, so he was placed on a bed, and while the emergency room doctor was busy with others, and died. The social worker there felt that was neglect and reported it to the Los Angeles County people that this hospital was in neglect. They created, through the Los Angeles County Health Department, a committee of doctors, lawyers, lay people, other interested people, nurses, etc., to study the issue. We did so for months. Nobody could come to any conclusion. So everybody went their way. The Bar Association and the Medical Association created the Joint Committee on Biomedical Ethics. We agitated ourselves and worked for years before we finally came up with a recommendation, which later became the law of the state. And that was that it was possible for a patient or a patient's advocate to say, do not resuscitate. No CPR, no cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So that we didn't have to keep everybody on ventilators and keep a corpse alive. And we could obey them without being sued, which is always an issue.
Let's say, doctor, a patient wants to pass on, but a member of the family has power of attorney and they have given the medical staff implicit instructions, keep Mom, Dad, Aunt Sue, or Uncle John alive. How does this affect the medical staff when they know, or if they know, that this person is in agony, and if they want to go, they should just be able to have the right to pass on it with their integrity?
That's where my current job continues and has been for some years. We have the Biomedical Ethics Committee. We call a committee meeting, which is doctors, lawyers, nurses, everybody involved with the issue in the hospital, and the family, and we discuss the issues, the pros and cons of what's going on. Very often, we convince the family that all we're doing is torturing the dying patient who wants to just let himself go or herself. Occasionally, we have a person who will not give us the permission to pull the plug, if you want to call that. And if that's true, we don't pull the plug. But eventually the patient dies. I think that's torture for the patient, and that's still an unresolved issue we have, but that's what happens. Fortunately, it happens seldomly.
Has there ever been a time that you're aware of, doctor, where a hospital or a doctor has gone to the courts to have a power of attorney taken away from someone so that the patient can pass on with dignity?
No, I don't think I recall any episode of that sort. We usually work through the bioethics committee, and whatever comes out of that, and we argue the issue back and forth even after the family has left, sometimes for an hour or two. And you do what has to be done.
Is it because the family just wants to hold on to that, to their loved one, and that they're not thinking with clarity, that once you and the other members of the ethnic board talk to them and give them the facts of the matter, that they change their minds?
That's only one side of the issue. I'll cite an example where the other side of the issue probably existed. I had a woman and a man, married woman and a man with a son, and the husband got very, very sick and eventually died. We let him die. The family let him die. The woman herself was non-compos mentis. She was in a state of unconsciousness, and was staying in her house with her son. He hired many different people to take care of her, hospitalized her frequently, and insisted that she be kept alive. In her last stay in the hospital, all the associates and doctors who took care of her asked me, why don't you just let this poor soul go? She's comatose. She is being kept alive by machines. Just let her go. But the son would not let her go. So when the time came, she resuscitated and died. He sued me. And I spent a day not in court, but in a conference with the opposing lawyer and mine. And after a day of explanation, I pointed out that we did not allow her to die. She died in spite of every effort to keep her alive. As you know, everybody's going to die sooner or later. And I was exonerated and not further bothered with that. The son was living in his mother's and father's home, and I think there had to be some financial purposes in his keeping the mother alive.
I see.
Unless, maybe he just really loved his mother that much.
Tell me, doctor, how do members of the medical community separate themselves from what happens at work to their personal lives? How do you draw that line?
Well, I've never drew that line. I love my patients. I have never had problems with them, even in the case I just described.
Right.
I often did house calls to her. I hospitalized her a number of times, and we were very friendly. And it came as a surprise to me when he sued me. I come home and I feel comfortable about what I did. Many doctors do feel that way. There are some doctors who are agitated and angry at what they had to do during the day, but I think most of us, if we practice for a while, learn to adjust.
What do you think the listeners who are listening to this show, Doctor, right across the United States and around the world, can actually do to better increase their quality of life? And when it comes to it, when should we call it quits and allow those that we love pass to the other side?
That's a good question, and of course we talk about that for hours in the bioethics committees. When should we call it quits? When it's obvious that that person, the loved one or the person themselves, will never get better. Why should we suffer? And even if we're not suffering, if we're comatose, we're destroying the healthcare system in the United States by overutilizing it, keeping tens of thousands of people alive who are actually nothing more than corpses and would die the instant you took away the machines and the ventilators and the IVs, taking up tremendous hospital time, and which could be used by people who will get better, going to emergency rooms and jamming up the emergency rooms where people who need it wouldn't get the services they should get. I think we have to have a realistic single-payer system that has a single set of rules and that everybody can follow.
I was wondering, sir, if you could give me your thoughts on Dr. Kevorkian.
Dr. Kevorkian, interestingly enough, when he was still practicing, I had a television discussion with him via I was in California, he was in Chicago, and the moderator was in New York, and we were discussing through the moderator. In those days, I didn't agree with him. As you know, 3 states now have make it legal to allow people to die.
Yes.
And Kevorkian went to jail not because he was allowing people to die or even giving them the medicines, but because he pulled the trigger on one patient. I've had 2 patients who died from medicines I gave them. I didn't intend to kill them. They accumulated and saved the medicines. How do you know that a person is saving medicines to kill themselves?
You don't.
They're very depressed. Yes, you're worried about them.
Sure.
And both of them were found dead with my bottles, sometimes several years old, strewn in the floor, empty. And it was obvious that they were taking all the medicines at once and had saved them up over the years. They were both miserable people from their own life situations, and I knew they were. You don't know what's going to happen, and as a physician, you try to limit what you do for patients in terms of medicines. You remind them. Now, I take time. Unfortunately, many doctors don't have that time. I take time. I've made a nice living, even though I've limited the number of patients I see in a day. And I always explain the medicine and the side effects that could happen, and often tell them you don't need that medicine.
You said that when I asked you about Dr. Kevorkian, you said in those days I didn't agree with him. What changed your mind?
I think over the years I could see the suffering that my patients were doing. I never gave anybody a pill to kill themselves with.
Right.
I mean, don't do that even now. But the change I made was withholding life support in situations where a person was semi-comatose or obviously essentially dead. Well, a good example is the Shivo case, if you remember that one, where the woman's husband wanted to let her go and the family didn't want to let her go. When she died, the autopsy showed that her brain was about a third the size of a normal, so she wasn't a human being anymore. She was an organism. You
know, it's a very delicate, from what I understand, a very delicate role that doctors and those within the medical community play these days because of the scrutiny, and yet, like, you've got big pharma pushing the pills, you've got moms and dads who, God bless them, and other people who just want to pass on. You've got the family who are saying no, keep them going. You've got the government who is saying, listen, this is costing us way too much money. You've got the insurance company saying we're not going to pay for this. What do people do when these crises arise? Who can they go to for help?
It's a good question. As a biomedical ethicist, I suggest that they go to the doctor first,
Right.
and then to the biomedical committee where their family is, either the local hospital or the nursing home, and discuss the issues. We haven't resolved them yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're with us. We'll always have problems. As soon as we solve one, there'll be another one, and that's what life is. We just have to discuss them openly and try to deal with them.
Dr. Kirschner, please stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. X-Zone Nation, Dr. Melvin Kirschner is our very special guest this hour. He's the author of Medicines Are Poison, Making Your Way Through the Medical Minefield. His website is www.allmedicinesarepoison.com. Dr. Kirschner and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, here in the X-Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
Each night of his charms that won't get you into his arms.
Being my friend, I said you called Dr. Robert. Day or night, he'll be there anytime at all. Dr. Robert, Dr. Robert. You're a new and better man. He helps you to understand. He does everything he can. Dr. Robert.
Welcome back, everyone. Dr. Melvin Kirschner is our special guest this hour. He is the author of Medicines Are Poison, Making Your Way Through the Medical Minefield. His website is www.allmedicinesarepoison.com. Dr. Kirschner, what are your views about alternative medicine?
Well, I'm a scientist,
Mm-hmm.
and scientists don't validate anything unless they can have proof. Alternative medicine is treatment with either medicines or procedures that have never been proved. A number of them have been disproved,
Mm-hmm.
but, people will do what they want to do. Once in a while, an alternative treatment or medicine proves to be valid. I'll give you an example of glucosamine and chondroitin. That was on the alternative medicine list for years. And then it was discovered that it probably did help arthritis. My own rheumatologist gave it to me. It didn't help me, but it must help some people because the rheumatologists believe it. So a process that proves itself is no longer alternative medicine, it's standard medicine. Alternative medicine is medicines that have not, and procedures that have not proven themselves. In today's paper, there was a full-page ad by a chiropractor telling us that he can manipulate almost any spine and cure the problem without surgery. Maybe he can. I don't know, but I doubt it. Alternative medicine is unproven techniques, and as a scientist, you must have proof for everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have proof, it's experimental, and you're not for sure.
But what about these naturopathic doctors or holistic doctors? Are they any, do they hold any validity with you and the members of the scientific community?
No. They cannot prove what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that means double-blind studies, various different patients, the full scientific technique that's used to prove something. If you can't prove... Matter of fact, there's many drugs being taken off the market because the studies that were done to get them on the market were probably not adequate, and now they're going off the market. because the science didn't prove their value. So, as a scientist, show me the proof.
Or as the lady used to say on the Wendy's commercial, where's the beef?
Yeah, right.
Dr.
Right.
Kirschner, Kirschner, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, sir. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. Congratulations on your book, Medicines Are Poison, Making Your Way Through the Medical Minefield. Exonation. For more information on Dr. Melvin Kirschner, or if you'd like to get a copy of Medicines Are Poison, Making Your Way Through the Medical Minefield, visit the Good Doctor's website at www.allmedicinesarepoison.com. That's www.allmedicinesarepoison.com. Well, this is it, the final segment of the X Zone. I'll be back tomorrow night as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. So until tomorrow night, X Zone Nation, take care of each other and always remember that, it doesn't hurt to do a good deed. And if you can help somebody out, why not? And remember, always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night now.
Dr. Robin, take a drink from the special cup, Dr.